What's up, you guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel. This is where I love to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that I like to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, TV shows, and right now I'd like to give you guys my review of Iron Mask. So Iron Mask is a foreign film. I do believe it is a joint venture between Chinese and Russian studios. And what makes this movie kind of unique, I guess, is the fact that it's a foreign film, but it has, a couple stars that are big here in the States. And that would be specifically Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan. So obviously Jackie Chan is a huge name internationally, and I believe Arnold Schwarzenegger is a huge name internationally as well. So it makes sense that they would star in a big international film like this. And I also believe that this movie came out almost a year ago overseas, but it just came out this week here in the States. So I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the stuff that I really liked about it. And I'm going to talk about the stuff that I didn't like about it. So first, this is a sequel to Forbidden Kingdom. So Forbidden Kingdom was that foreign film that came out a couple years ago that was a lot of fun, and it was kind of this fantastical type movie, martial arts movie, and this is very much in that same vein. Very much, it's set in a real world that's filled with fantasy, filled with bright contrasting colors, larger than life characters, and a lot of Hollywood cliches. A lot of Hollywood cliches. And this movie, actually, Iron Mask, actually plays with a lot of Hollywood tropes. There's a lot of stuff that we have seen in other movies happen here. Obviously, the man in the Iron Mask is something that we've seen before in Hollywood, and that pretty much same scenario is played out here. A man is in the dungeon in an iron mask to conceal his identity, and he escapes to kind of satisfy the duties that are related to his position. So yeah, that's the very first one. But then you've got, like, for instance, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a prison guard at the Tower of London, and if you can climb up, you get your freedom. Where have I seen that before? Where have I seen that before? Obviously, I'm talking about The Dark Knight Rises. All right, so, and that's not the only one, guys. There's a lot of stuff in here, and they even play with a lot of established mythology in this. For instance, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a character named James Hook, and they never really truly connect it to Peter Pan, but it's strongly implied in a lot of ways, especially given how he likes to collect artifacts from great people that came before him. If you remember, Captain Hook always had an obsession with time. So I feel like that was a little touch given to this character, that he's obsessed with time by collecting these artifacts of people that came before him. The sword of Alexander the Great, the sword of King Arthur. Whether or not all of it was really the artifacts he claimed they were. One of the funniest bits in the movie came as a result of his collection. So yeah, it plays with that as well. But if you're watching this movie hoping to see a movie that is starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan, then you're probably going to be pretty disappointed. They are not in it a whole lot. Now, I would call it a little bit, it's not a cameo. It's not even a glorified cameo. They're in it, but their roles are small. Now, they are front and center in all the marketing. They're front and center in the poster. They're front and center in the trailer. They are everywhere in the marketing. In fact, their names are the marquee names in the marketing for the movie, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan, even though they are nothing more than supporting roles in this film. The main role in this movie goes to Jason Flemyng, who plays John Green, the cartographer. He plays the same character he did in Forbidden Kingdom. And in this one, he is reprising that role, and he is spending a lot of the movie traveling to meet I think it was the Chinese princess, but I'm not sure. Some of this stuff I didn't follow all too well in the first showing. I'm going to have to definitely rewatch it. But the Chinese princess that he was going to meet was no longer, she was replaced by a witch who was able to take on the form of the princess that he was going to meet. By the way, the whole time that he was traveling with the princess that he was going to meet. So it's the plot actually in some aspects gets a little convoluted because so many people are able to, especially the witches and her handmaidens, they're able to kind of take on the appearance of other people, and some of the people actually look a little bit alike. I don't know. It got a little confusing at times, but I do have to talk about the woman who played Cheng Len. I believe her name was I'm gonna say this wrong, I'm sure. Zheng Tan Yao. She was phenomenal in this. She was phenomenal in this. She was so much fun to watch. She was very she had a great screen presence. So she kind of had a bit of a Mulanish type character. Remember, they're playing with movie tropes here. She kind of had a Mulanish type arc. She pretended to be a boy for much of the movie while she was with Jason Fleming's character, Jason Fleming's character John Green, the cartographer. She was pretending to be a boy. And only when they got to where she was going to go, where she could reclaim her throne and become the Dragon Empress or whatever it was, at that point she revealed herself to who she really was the princess. And like I said, she had so much screen presence. She did a wonderful job, and just the physicality of her character, the martial arts, it was all wonderful. There was even a sequence where she had to fight several people that looked like her. The witch and some handmaidens, she had to fight all of them, and they all looked like her, and that was just a really well done scene. I'm sure obviously they used CGI or deepfake or whatever it was, they used it, but it was pretty flawless. So let's talk about those those special effects. Not too bad. Not too bad. I mean, it's not great. It's not great. So the special effects were a lot of fun. It was very cheesy, and it definitely played up the cheesy angle, and they kind of made especially when you were talking about CGI, they made sure the CGI was kind of bright and contrasting and very, like, you could tell that it wasn't real, but you didn't care because you were having so much fun watching. It was like a party for your eyes. And that's kind of how I felt about the CGI. At the end of the movie, when the dragon came out, again, it looked animated, but you were really forgiving about it because you were having a good time, and it was cheesy, but it was cheesy in all the right ways, and it was cheesy in a way that hit all the right notes. So, yeah, this movie was a lot of fun. I need to go back and rewatch Forbidden Kingdom. I have not seen it since the initial time that I watched it, however many years ago it came out. I didn't even talk about Jackie Chan yet. So Jackie Chan does have, he has a role in this movie that's very similar to that of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He plays the Master. And he's locked away in the Tower of London with Peter the Great, who is the Russian Tsar, who has the Iron Mask on, who's also locked up in the tower. And Jackie Chan, who's the Master, he spends his days teaching Peter the Great how to fight. He becomes his master. And near the end of the first act, there's actually a wonderful fight sequence that is just so much ridiculous fun, where Jackie Chan and Peter the Great, they attempt to escape the Tower of London, where Arnold Schwarzenegger is a guard, and there is just a fantastic, so much fun, so cheesy, but again, cheesy in all the right ways, fight sequence between Arnold and Jackie Chan. And Arnold plays the Brute, who's also a very good fighter, and Jackie Chan plays the Master. And there are moments to shine. If you're an Arnold fan, he gets his moments to shine. If you're a Jackie Chan fan, he gets his moments to shine. And they actually completed the fight in such a way where they both achieved their objectives. Arnold Schwarzenegger came away victorious, but Jackie Chan also came away victorious. And I really appreciated that as well, because that was going to be a difficult line to walk. Who was going to come out on top, Arnold or Jackie? And like I said, they walked that line really well. And like I said, They had a really great sequence at the beginning of the movie, near the end of the first act. They popped up a lot in the first act. And then near the end of the first act, they had their fight sequence. And then they really didn't pop up again till the end. And then you see them a bit at the end. So it really is supporting role for Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan. But when they were on the screen, you can tell why they're some of the biggest stars in the world, why they've got these great careers, these great storied careers, because when they're on the screen, you're just having so much fun. And I can tell, especially Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was just hamming it up in all the best ways possible. I give him a lot of grief for like Batman and Robin and some of his career missteps, but he is also very good at owning the screen and dishing out the ham when he needs to. And he did a good job in this, kind of keeping it balanced enough to where it wasn't ridiculous, but yet it was. And it was ridiculous in a good way. And I think he knew that, and I think he was just having a great time with that. The last person I wanted to talk about was Li Ma, who plays the witch. She didn't have the same kind of screen time as Xingtian Yao, because the witch was also portrayed by Xingtian Yao for a large portion of the movie because she wanted to look like the princess. But she also did a good job owning the screen, commanding the screen, and just really having that presence whenever she was there. There was some silly side quest on this. This really felt like a bit of a cross between, like, I don't know, like Pirates of the Caribbean and I don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean and any martial arts movie. It really had a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean DNA infused into it. Just the comedy, the action, the kind of the slapstick sequences, even in a lot of ways the fantastic elements, the fantasy elements. A lot of it really felt very Pirates of the Caribbean, and that's probably why I had so much fun with it, because I'm a big fan of those movies. And yeah, this really did feel like a Pirates of the Caribbean movie with some Eastern entertainment value injected into it, and that was great. That was great. In a lot of ways, it really was a pirate movie. They actually spend a lot of the time in the movie on the sea, and the ship captain is just hilarious. And I won't really talk too much about him because he was really good in this movie. There is a lot of stuff to like in this movie, guys. However, if you're one of those people who you can't really get past cartoonish looking CGI, and if you're one of those people who you prefer your movies to be more serious and less cheesy, I think you're going to have a hard time with this one. I think you're going to have a real hard time with this one, because this one, like I said, the CGI is a little cartoony, but I forgave it, and there's just plates and plates and plates of cheese served with this movie. But it's done, I think it's done well. But if you have a problem with that, you are not going to like this, because this is that. This is that. If you're one of those people who has a problem with this, you're going to be rolling your eyes at this, because this is that. It's cheese, 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 cheese. But I enjoyed it. I really liked the Iron Mask. I kind of teetered back and forth between whether or not I was gonna buy it, and I could rent it for $6.99 or I could buy it for $9.99. I was like, for $3 more, just buy it. So I went ahead and bought it, and I'm glad that I did, because I'll watch this one. I'll watch this one again. I will watch this one again. It was a lot of fun. And I need to go back and revisit Forbidden Kingdom, because it's been years since I've seen that one, and this makes me want to do that. So that's a good sign. When a sequel makes you want to go back and revisit the original, I think that's usually a good sign. So, yep, I like this. I had a good time with it. Like I said, lots and lots of cheese, but yet a really good time. So I give this movie a B+. Just an enjoyable way to spend 2 hours. So that's my take on it. Have you seen The Iron Mask? The foreign film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about it. I'd love to get a dialogue going and talk about this movie some. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you so much for joining me here at the OQ Review, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. Until next time, we'll see you later.